YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back. We're still talking about the draft. I mentioned before this 2018 NFL draft undrafted free agency pool is probably the best I've ever seen. And throughout the draft, we've seen guys falling down because teams are passing on them. Maybe we don't know the reason why. Maybe because off the field issues, health concerns, injury concerns. And then teams drafting quarterbacks more than ever, so pushing guys down. And really, the overall talent of the draft was pretty good, pretty deep. So a lot of undrafted guys fell through. A bunch of signings, a bunch of great signings. I expect a lot of these guys to have potential to make their teams. But I wanted to break down 10 of the best signings here and just break them down. And so we got 10 teams. No, actually, we don't have 10 teams. Two of these teams made the list twice, so pretty impressive undrafted haul they got here. So let's start with number 10, Quin Blanding from Virginia. The Redskins pick him up. I think the Redskins they need another safety. They get a guy in Quin Blanding. I think he could potentially make the team. He's a very good football player. I thought he was a fourth, maybe fifth round guy, and probably would drop to the sixth bottom line. He goes undrafted. Excellent safety. There's really no weaknesses to his game besides he's got a thin frame. It doesn't stop him from coming up and tackling. Very efficient tackler. Very good in the pass game. I mean, if you watch college football, you know Quin Blanding's name for a while now. He's been kind of on the draft's radar for a while. Maybe went on the decline a little bit after he came out this year. Really no big reason. Maybe because of the other talent. But excellent football player. I expect him to have a good chance of making the team. On to number 9. J.C. Jackson from the Patriots. Good corner. I expect him to go round 4 or 5. Main reasons he's on here is because I made a mock draft. I can't really remember if it was right before the draft or during the draft for day 2. I just remember mentioning that, and I know it's true, in my opinion, that the J.C. Jackson is a Patriots type of corner. He's very physical at the line. Doesn't have tremendous size, but he's got good strength. Very physical at the line. Can play in man. He can play in the slot. It's a Patriots type of corner. And Patriots are always looking for corners. They need more corners. They're always good at finding undrafted guys, late round guys. And here we got J.C. Jackson. I expect him to have a solid chance of making the team. Maybe like a Logan Ryan type player, someone like that. So I thought it was interesting. I mentioned J.C. Jackson in a mock was a Patriots type of guy, and I had him going there somewhere in the mid rounds, and they get him undrafted. So very good pickup. Good chance of making the team, I think. On to number 8, Kurt Benkert. Virginia quarterback, second Virginia player, going to the Falcons. Benkert showed flashes of NFL potential at times. He was a guy right before the draft that moved up a lot. I went back, watched some of the tape. Benkert versus Miami, and I'm not even kidding. If you saw that game or if you remember that game, you want to go watch it, versus Miami, looked like a first-round quarterback. I am not kidding. Maybe second-round bottom line. I don't know where it came from. He hasn't been consistent. If you compare to that, did not look like that any other game, but looked decent at times. But we know he has it in him. Miami was a very good defense too. Solid team this year. We know he has it in him. We just need an NFL coaching staff, an NFL team to bring it out of him. And what a great team to go to. A high-powered offense, Atlanta Falcons. He gets to learn behind Matt Ryan. Perfect. So I think he can make the team. Obviously, we don't expect to see him on the field anytime soon. But Kurt Benkert, guy I really moved up. Really close to the draft. Thought he should have got drafted. Thought the team would have saw his potential, what he has, with his big playmaking ability that he's shown before. Yeah, for that reason, I thought he would get drafted. We'll see how it works out with the Falcons. Good pickup. Number 7, Quinton Meeks of the Jags. I like Quinton Meeks. He's a technique corner. Hips, movement, it's all there. Ball skills, good, but maybe it wasn't all there. So I think that's why he dropped maybe. Still didn't expect him to drop this far. Defensive back coaches or defense coaches wanna teach their technique. They can't really teach ball skills. How are you gonna teach somebody to? I mean, you're gonna run through drills that are gonna help you attack the ball better, but really it's something you have or you don't. I think he has it, but maybe not as good as some of the other corners in the draft. So that's why he fell out. But he's already got the technique down. I think he's very smooth, got good athleticism. But what a perfect team to go to is the Jags. I think there's a few teams that are really good at developing secondary and already have good secondaries you can learn from. The Jags are one of them. So what an excellent pickup there. I thought he would get drafted. I thought 3rd, 4th round, maybe the 5th. Bottom line, there's so many guys like that. There's like a list of 30 guys that I thought would get drafted, 20 guys maybe, and he comes in at number 7. I mentioned that There was 2 teams on this list that made an appearance twice, and it's already the Jags. They get 6 and 7. Alan Lazard. How did this receiver not get drafted? Big body receiver with great athleticism, bailout receiver, jump ball receiver. You throw the ball up, he'll make the catch. I think for how big he is, very good athleticism, I think, too. Great hands, clutch in the red zone. They lost Allen Robinson, lost Allen Hurns. Maybe they get Alan Lazard. That makes the team. I think he has a good chance. Big play receiver, like I said. I really thought earliest 3rd round. I was expecting 4th, 5th. I really did not expect him to not get drafted. Some of these random receivers that were getting drafted too. I don't know. I mean, a lot of the receivers got pushed down. We saw guys like Deion Kane go in the 6th round. So great pickup for the Jags. Really good haul here. Their undrafted free agency looks like a draft class. That's kind of ridiculous. So he comes in at number 6. They get 6 and 7. Good job with the Jags. 5. It's going to be the Broncos getting yet another defensive talent. Jeff Holland, I thought would go 3rd or 4th round, and they get him undrafted. Could understand maybe if he went 5th, but they come in at 5 on the list with Jeff Holland. Good pass rusher. I mean, maybe he dropped because he doesn't have freak athleticism, but it's there on the field. You can see it on the field. He's strong. Then another reason he didn't get drafted maybe is because he didn't quite get to the quarterback a lot as much as some of the other guys, but he was like, consistently gave pressure, and I think that's more important. Pressures mean future sacks, especially from college to the NFL. A guy that's a step away, a millisecond away, a second away constantly from getting the quarterback goes into an NFL coaching staff. I think they can take away that step or that half a step or that millisecond, especially a defensive-minded team like the Broncos with plenty of talent. That's the tough part. There's so much talent in front of him. Can he make the team? But he has the talents. So I do like Jeff Holland a lot. A lot of upside. A lot of upside. Can't believe he didn't get drafted. He goes to the Broncos. Good pick up there. Number 5 on the list. On to number 4 on the list. It's going to be the Vikings getting Holton Hill, the corner from Texas. This honestly could have been higher in the list. Some very good, a lot of good DBs on this list. Wow, a lot of DBs dropped down. He dropped out because of character concerns. So teams knew he was a good prospect. Character concerns, off the field concerns. So, I mean, going into the Mike Zimmer DB group is just great. An excellent secondary. So maybe that's why he's not higher in the list. Maybe could be one. Maybe it was the best free. I know there's a lot of experts had Holton Hill as their best undrafted player. Could be one. Wouldn't disagree with it. Him going to a defensive-minded team, a defensive back-minded head coach, honestly, is great for him. But the reason he's at 4 is because there's so many good guys ahead of him that I think he can make the team, but there's so many good guys ahead of him where it's going to be tough. But he's good enough to make the team. They drafted Mike Hughes, who was a little undersized, but a very, very good corner. Holton Hill is a bigger, longer corner, so I think they'll like that. Not saying at all that he's better than their first-round draft pick, but just a little bit different guys for the future makes sense. On to number 3. It's going to be another corner. Yet another corner. Kevin Tolliver going to the Chicago Bears. I love this because Kevin Tolliver, I thought was, if he went 2nd round, I would have liked to pick, but I thought he was going to go 3rd, 4th, character concerns. I didn't think it would make him go undrafted. When do you see a 6'2", maybe just under 6'3" corner with the athleticism and movement that Kevin Tolliver has? I mean, Holton Hill is pretty similar, but Tolliver, I liked him at the combine. Very smooth. I mean, I liked him on tape too, and so many LSU DBs in and out, and he really showed out to me. I don't know. He's very physical, good at pass deflections, all over the place. I think he makes this team. The Bears have some good corners. They don't have anybody great, so they want to stash some younger guys maybe for the future. I think Tolliver, maybe he doesn't play a lot right away, but he has potential to make an impact on the Bears early on in his career if he makes a team. So hopefully there's no character concerns anymore. I like Kevin Tolliver a lot. I think he was in one of my I made a video of my favorite guys in the draft video. He was in there. I like Kevin Tolliver. A lot of good upside for him. Now we're on to the top 2. Going to number 2. T. Gray Scales to the Rams, the Indiana middle linebacker. He was actually my number 2 true middle linebacker behind Leighton Vander Esch, right there with Josie Jewell. I actually had Scales ahead of Jewell. High motor, tough player, tackling machine, tackles for loss machine. I know it's not all about stats. You're looking at defensive guys. Linebackers, actually, if you look at the past, you can base linebackers off stats a little more than, or definitely more than the pass rush guys, maybe a little more than the defensive back guys as well. Tackles for loss, though, as well as I'm going to bring up. It is a stat that I like to use. It's you don't want to base stuff off stats. You want to watch the tape. But if there is a stat for defensive players, tackles for loss, more important than sacks, more important than interceptions, that's a key one. And he lit that stat line up. And, I mean, if you watch him, he's a heck of a football player, good at reading defenses. The main thing here is why he's at number 2. Well, one being he was my second true middle linebacker, but the Rams needed linebackers. They drafted a few that I like. They weren't immediate impact guys. I mean, either is Scales, but he has potential to get in there, make the team, and possibly make an impact early because they needed linebackers and they needed somebody like this that can fit the inside linebacker position on their 3-4 defense. So love the pickup for the Rams. T. Gray Scales, very surprised he didn't get drafted. I thought 3rd or 4th round for him. Mainly because like the lack of middle linebackers too. You seen kind of that's a position group where the guys that are pretty solid will move up just because there's not many left on the board, like right when the draft starts. So it's like, well, here's our only chance to get this guy, even though we may be able to get him a little later. We better pull the trigger now. So I'm really confused on why he dropped. I think he's a heck of a ball player. And then number 1, a team that was already on the list, it's going to be the Vikings again. They had Holton Hill, and they got Hercules Mata from Washington State. Now, there is a reason I understand why he didn't get drafted, even though he should have got drafted. It's because he played, well, Washington State's defense, a little strange, but he played a D tackle spot, which in that defense easily transition into maybe a 3-4 end, but he's maybe undersized, thin frame for that position for the NFL. You know how the NFL overrates size. They do it a lot. Like it's impressive when you see a guy of big size and very athletic. Those guys go high. But I saw this guy pre-draft process. I saw this guy being able to stick in at middle or outside linebacker and even still playing DM maybe in a 4-3. And what a better spot to go to. Mike Zimmer figuring out where to put people, switching their positions all the time, and developing them very good. He's a high production guy, high motor, high production all over the place. Sacked good offense quarterbacks, got through good offensive lines in the Pac-12. Pac-12's all offense. So Hercules Mata going to Mike Zimmer. I heard they already listed him at linebacker. So as I predicted months ago that he would be a linebacker, I'm fine with him sticking on the D-line though too. I think NFL overrates size, but at linebacker position, I think he's a good athlete. I would look out for this guy not only to make the team, and remember it was the number 1 defense. I think he can make an impact. Looking at Ben Gideon, a mid-round pick from last year, very impressive, but he got the start there. So maybe they're thin at that linebacker spot next to Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks. So, I mean, he's definitely going to be a special teamer. That's for sure. But he's definitely a guy to look out for. The Jags and the Vikings were the two teams I was talking about that made this list twice. Good job to them. Vikings also got Rock Thomas, the running back from Jacksonville State. Almost included him on here, but I wanted to get more of a variety of teams. Because I thought the Vikings need a 3rd running back in case Dalvin Cook got hurt. Rock Thomas I thought was a 5th or 6th rounder. Very underrated. So I'm glad they got him in there. So, yeah, another team, the Vikings and the Jags. A few other teams look like they got a draft class out of their undrafted free agency class. So very impressive, mainly by the talent of this draft. The undrafted guys show us how good the draft class was. And I hope some of these guys, I think most of my list there have a realistic shot at making the team. So I sure hope so. I'm excited to see any highlights or any film, maybe it'll be on NFL Network, of rookie mini camps. I'm really excited to see any of that, see how these guys look, see who makes the team. Still got a while to go till we find out who makes the team, but I'm excited. But we got plenty of coverage leading up to the NFL season and during the NFL season. We're upgrading. We're getting better content on the way thanks to you guys. Support's been great. We've been able to keep on doing this and keep on growing because of you guys, so I thank you guys a lot. And I hope you like, subscribe if you haven't already. That'll do it for this video. Goodbye.